So welcome to this little interview here with Annie or Eli. So welcome here to Bo Beats.
Yes, hi. Good to be here.
Yeah, and how are you feeling the Toman event so far?
I'm feeling really good. I'm a little bit burnt out now, I have to say. It's a lot of interaction, a lot of one thing to the next, and it's really fun. It feels good. But I'm ready for a rest day.
Yeah, sure, definitely. You're actually heading out to tour.
Yeah. I'll be in Germany for another week, and then I'm going to West Coast of the United States and heading out from LA all the way up into Canada.
That's awesome.
And then kind of back and forth. So, yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, touring musician. I guess like a lot of my viewers know you from your YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So we could just start there, I think.
I've been a musician since I've been 5 years old. Music has always been part of my life. I've always been into synths, and modular is this pipe dream for me. And I would watch all the videos, and I mean, not that long ago, 2 years ago, most of the videos were these really badly filmed portrait taken, very, very close and dark, and you can't tell anything. And my first thought, and I'm a professional cinematographer, I color.
It kind of shows on the videos.
Yeah, thank you.
Really nice aesthetics.
Yeah, thank you. And that's, I was like, okay, why are there no videos of just of this instrument, which is really alien and beautiful? Why there should be some aesthetic, really nice stuff with this ambience, because I was very inspired by some Benny, of course, and Andrew Polgar, and the likes of them. This beautiful ambience, and I was like, I want to bring a visual aesthetic that's really nice to look at too.
So I think you definitely nailed it.
Yeah, thank you. It was kind of a click in my brain when I thought, it was like, that's
because there was one thing to just kind of put a few plants in a video, and it's one thing to have like an aesthetic idea that you pursue, and it becomes a part of your art.
It's half imagery and half of the music itself.
Exactly.
So it's a big part of it.
Yeah. I've sometimes like tried to do something similar, but it's this thing where if you don't really have that aesthetic idea, like it's, you can try, but it's like, it's very hard. It's not just angling a camera and just pressing play. It's like, or record it. It's definitely shows that it goes in a lot of emotion into your videos.
And it's an escape for me in a way. If you took the camera and you panned it to the rest of the room from this beautiful, clean little section, it would look like trash. There's shit everywhere. Making these videos is kind of a relaxation, and it's an escape from all the other things that are going on.
For sure.
So that's my philosophy and idea behind music is that I want to share that with other people, and I want people to experience what I get from that. Because I think everybody can benefit from a pause and a breath and just a.
So there's some parts of like the music you're making, that feeling, you try and translate it into the imagery that we're seeing.
Right. And then because it is a weird music, it is very out there, and
I don't think so necessarily, but I understand what you mean.
Right, it's not your standard, pop music.
For sure. But I think it's approachable still. Like
it is, yeah. And I wanted to make it even more approachable to people who are, they look at this crazy synth and they're like, well, I didn't even know that makes music. There's sounds coming out of that box.
Yeah, it's very organic, the stuff you do, and it's like, you know, you can listen to it. I can play it to my wife, and she would not instantly think like, oh, blippity bloppity synth. It's not that. It's very beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. And I have a deep connection with nature, and it's this interesting contrast for me of playing this really, really wild machine that is very, very pure, but at the same time it's kind of unnatural. And I want to have this contrast of this weird thing and then this kind of beautiful scenery and this
it's definitely nature. It's definitely a contrast.
It is.
It's like very far away from nature, but at the same time it's like, I totally get it. It's really cool working with that.
Yeah, and it's interesting. You see, as I am going through this music and learning more about myself in this music, the philosophy of patching a modular synth, whatever type of music you create, and then also the philosophy of this contrast of nature and synthesizers translates to a lot of other aspects of life for me that is important and helps me kind of understand and see things in a different way, which is
so it's almost like a healing aspect to it.
It's very much a healing. I started getting into ambient music. I have a huge trouble sleeping, and kind of letting the things roll off of me from the day and relaxing, and it's kind of this way of helping myself sleep for one.
Yeah, sure.
I'll turn on the synth in a generative patch and put it in the corner in the dark and fall asleep occasionally.
Wow.
And just let it run all night, wake up to it.
It's a very intimate relationship in a way.
It is very
to something which a lot of people just see as this sort of really dead object. Especially in like music, it's easy to think of something like a modular, like very far away from something organic. Like a guitar might feel more organic or something. I don't know.
Or even something you interact with and play. I'd say a synthesizer with a keyboard that you play. Some people could say, oh, like a generative patch, you're not even touching anything, you're just letting it go. Like it's kind of like that DJ thing, like, oh, they're not really doing anything.
Sure. What's your feeling about that? Like, could you just tell us a little bit about how you approach the whole, like, what you're talking about now? Like, it's not just pressing play.
For me, modular is a little anecdote for the universe. I think you build the patch from the center. And I think with modular, you have patch points and your ins and outs, and they're kind of like events. And so if you look at the beginning of the universe, there's all these events that have not happened, so therefore everything can happen, Murphy's Law. And it's very similar. You have all these patch points, all these events that could take place, and they've all happened, and they haven't happened. And so you have the ability to build from the center. And then when you hit record, or you decide that you want a linear track or a linear way of listening to it, that's when it becomes a linear, something to listen to in a linear fashion. And then generative, on the other hand, is kind of the epitome of it. You can let it run forever and ever, and it will continue to morph, and things can continue to happen out of my control and out of any idea that I have about it. And so to me, yes, you could say, I'm not doing anything.
But it's almost like a metaphor for life.
Yeah, that's what I've found, and I didn't go in thinking that. And there's so many things that I'll be talking to somebody and I'm like, that's really weird how that I'm thinking about modular synth right now for some reason. It's a completely different topic, but it can connect, and you can connect to it in that way, and it's really funny to me.
That's very interesting. And I say, like, when people say like you're not doing anything, I think the analogy or the metaphor of like Eurorack as sort of as the evolution of life or evolution of something, like the process of how life originates and moves, is like, well, it's not like someone is doing it, it's a process that happens.
Things happen as they come, and generative music. You set some rules up, I set some parameters. Okay, have this, maybe do this, make this sound. But then randomization and these long sweeping cycles that can introduce a new thing that might not happen. It might happen. You don't know, and so it's taking everything at the moment.
For sure.
As it goes. Yeah.
It's very interesting. I'm just gonna see here someone else. Oh, right. Would you be okay with just sharing like how Annie came to be?
Yeah, definitely. I have been in a ton of music projects with much different instruments. And the last music project I had was I was recording a full band. I was releasing tracks that are full band, but I played every single instrument.
Oh, cool.
And it pretty much burnt me out.
Yeah.
But there's this aspect with that of I take this piece of music that I've worked on extremely hard, and I want feedback from people, and I want real feedback from people. And so I go to my friends, my family.
Sure.
What do you think of this? And then, oh, it's great. Like, okay, is it great because you know me? Because you know my other music projects? Because you don't want to say, oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
I want the real thing. So when I started, I kind of slowly got out of that music project in this in-between phase. And a really close friend of mine is into this kind of type of music and was doing a project. And I kind of jumped on, and then they kind of dropped off. And I wanted to continue the music project. And so I took the name. And it's also, the other philosophy I have behind this is I think that everybody has a feminine side to them and a masculine side.
Sure.
Whatever your gender is.
Yeah.
And this music, to me, especially the generative stuff, it's the synth, and it's the music is its own life, and it's I get to kind of be there with it and experience it just like anybody else in the audience. And so it's like that is Annie. I am Eli Goldberg. I'm a conductor, maybe. I help patch. I help guide it, but I'm just a guide. Yeah. I'm only but a guide to this music, and it's its own thing. Yeah. It's its own life. And so that's why I'm not in my videos, because I don't think the focus is not on me. It's the music. It's
for sure
what's playing and what's happening.
Well, I think you're doing an excellent job. For what it's worth, I really like the format, and even more now when I understand more of the philosophy behind it. Because you see some stuff, it's like some stuff is very well thought out, and some stuff is just you feel that there's something lacking. There's like a philosophical level that might not be there. And I really enjoy that with you, and especially meeting you here and getting to we've talked on a few occasions during the trip, and it's like really wild because you do stuff that is so far removed from what I do. So I would say like my channel is something that is it's a social platform where I sort of interconnect with other people and try and influence them in a positive way, help them. I want to be there and channelize something helpful and impact people in some positive manner. But I also think. So there's a definite difference between this and what you're doing, but it's also really cool that there's all these layers of ideas under it, which are really interesting to explore, and it gives. I think what I want to say is just it really adds to the experience of watching you. I was actually watching the other day. I was watching from the hotel room one of your videos again, just kind of going in with what you've told me and your stories, and I think that's a beautiful aspect to it.
Thank you.
So any future and Annie things people should check out, or Eli stuff?
I'm after this tour, I think I'm very, very close to finishing an album. I've been working on it for more than a year now. I released my last album February 26th of last year, and this album had actually already been in process. And so it's going to be with a film that I've shot too. And so it's really exciting. I have a lot of work to do, but it should be really interesting.
Will it be like a YouTube release as well with the film?
Yeah,
or?
yeah. So it will be a short film, and it's mostly imagery. I won't give too much.
Yeah.
But it's mostly imagery to go with the music.
Sure.
And it will be released on YouTube for everybody to view. I don't like having people pay for my music.
For sure.
But it will be, everybody can view it. The album will be released on cassette. I'm hopefully vinyl. I'm really hoping for vinyl,
awesome.
but it's insanely expensive. as the modular world tends to be, and many other things. But yeah, I think that's my biggest thing coming up.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
And of course, I'll link a few stuff down in the description. So if you guys are new to Anani and Eli's stuff, I'll link it down below. Go and check it out. There's some really good stuff, especially if you're into ambient stuff, evolving things, and maybe a little more of a meditative experience.
Yes. Yeah, very meditative. Yeah. Meditative.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much for
for
coming on the channel.
Yeah, it's great.
It was a real pleasure to meet you here at
Amazing meeting you. Yeah, it's funny. I've watched your videos, and it's really funny to have you standing here in front of me, seeing me, asking me questions, and I want to oh, you're real.
Yeah.
Like
and flesh and blood.
right. And it's not a screen.
Yeah. And it's interesting seeing you after seeing your work, but not you.
Right.
But it's very clear that there's a clear connect between the work you do and you as a person, which I think is nice. Am I very different from on the screen or off the screen? I don't know. You can be honest.
I'd say different. I'd say you have the personality on screen, and it's a personality. And I'm not like, oh, what the heck? Bo Beats is insanely different. This is a completely different person. But it's really cool in the same way that I think you found talking to me. It's really cool talking with you and going, oh, okay, now I think you were telling me about how you're a psychotherapist, and it's oh, okay, I can see how you connect to people so well now. It kind of things make sense, and it's satisfying in a way. It's it's so great that you're this great person.
Oh, thank you.
Great person on your channel too, and it's wonderful. Yeah.
It's been very uplifting.
Yeah.
In a certain way to be here and just it's some form of validation, I guess, also from your peers to just to see that what you're doing is having some kind of impact, not only on viewers but on other creatives as well. That people are inspired by various things that others are doing, and all the respect. So it's been one hell of a trip.
Yeah,
now it's like a lot to go home and reflect on.
It is. It feels kind of sad to. And it's interesting. I feel very connected to these people and all of you, all the YouTubers.
Yeah.
And we've really never met.
Yeah, and it wasn't necessarily like that. I would assume that for somebody like you, it wasn't really like the most natural thing before you came here. Yeah. It was
actually the week before coming here is one of the most stressful weeks I've gone through in a long time. So it was really nice to be here and talk with people and connect with them.
Yeah.
I'm oh wow, we're all very similar.
Yeah. Definitely.
We share the same interests outside of music and outside of YouTube, and it's great to sit down and have a conversation about anything. And
I think those were some of the most valuable things to me. All the conversations.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
A lot of I like the videos are fun and all, but the conversations are so. Yeah, there's been a lot of profound discussions.
Yeah, it's quite inspiring
and
which you can take to the videos and music and many other things.
Definitely. That's interesting. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
You need to go and do your thing.
Yes,
And we'll wrap up. So guys, be sure to check the links in the description. Check out Anani's stuff, and I'll talk to you guys later.